Camera mix is on. Okay.
Hi.
Yep, we're good. Welcome.
Hello.
So this is very exciting for us. So we're back to little girl dresses, and today is Louise. And today I have Genevieve,
Hi.
who I can tell you, it's so nice to have young people that want to sew, and Genevieve's really good, and she and John will start next Friday.
Week, yeah.
And they'll do every other week. They'll do a garment, some kind of a garment class.
Yes,
and what are you
we're
starting
very
with?
excited. We're starting with a little patchwork looking dress. I'm so excited about it. It's
Oh,
very
it's
easy.
cute, yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah. So hopefully a lot of you will join in for that
Yeah.
too. Lots of friends are here. This is so nice. Thank you guys for joining us. I know 3 o'clock kind of a tough time for a lot of people, but okay. So I'm not good at so if you're just joining us for the first time, it's Gloria Horn Sewing Studio. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where it's actually a really nice day.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, we've been talking about what you wear in the morning, and no one should be putting out their spring clothes because you're going to be the one that when it gets cold, it's your fault. So we're not doing that, but it's very nice here today. So if you're on our app, you're already signed in, right?
Yep.
If you're on Facebook, you have to register. You go off and no. How do you do that? Kate knows all this.
Okay, so if you're on Facebook and you're joining us for the first time, you have to register. So what you would do is you would comment register, and then it'll take you to a new screen, and you will put in your name, email address, and phone number, and then it'll prompt you to make a password, and then you can come right back. And if you want to purchase a product we are showing, you'll comment sold space and then the number of the item. So sold space 100 for the Louise pattern. And yeah.
Okay. So today is Louise, and the original dress that we showed was this one. We all love this, and we can't get any more fabric. So we're doing a different version today, but I'm going to show you what, if you have the pattern, if you have the kit already, we're going to talk about cutting it with a border. So this is Louise, and she has a really pretty, and the little buttons, and we will do the covered buttons, but I want to show you a couple other ideas. So this Louise, we have, it has the little butterflies on them. Let me see it this way, right? So the butterflies are actually appliqued on, not appliqued like I stitched around them, like hot fix, cut out, you stick it on the back of the fabric, cut out the butterflies you like, and then it goes on, and it doesn't come off. And I did even the little pieces. It's a product that we really, really like. So that's one. You can also embroider it. This was the original dress I did. And this one
This is so
is the bee dress. The bees on the sash and on the collar are on the Solaris. The little trail is the Sashiko. It really helps if you work in a baby lock store and you don't have some of these things at home. And then this one, I just love the back with the little.
I love this
I
little
know.
tie.
Yeah, with all the things. And I do like the ties a little bit longer. Yeah. So really and truly, you can do many things with it. And then this one is just, is what we're going to make today. It's going to be a dress that's all the same fabric with a contrasting trim, the white collar, but we are going to do a little sash. I don't think we're going to put anything on it. I think we're just going to do it plain, but just to have it, because I think that the tie is so cute, and it'll show us all how to do it. So at least to give you some ideas. The thing with the Children's Corner patterns, why I love them so much, is they're multi-sized. So with the Louise, this comes 6 months to an 8. We talk about in our patterns, in our kits, we try to do one size fits all, but we kind of went through them yesterday, and we're going to do a small and a large. So the small, we figured, is 6 months to 3, and then 4 to 8 is the larger ones. So you'll have enough fabric no matter which one you're going to do. What I do with my patterns, and I thought I'd just to show you. So I take each of the pieces and I put them in little Ziploc bags. So as my granddaughter grows, I just get a bigger bag, and then they're all together. I do have, and we're going to put the instructions with the sash on the website so that you can do it. If you already got the kit and you have, it was the Louise by Children's Corner, the little extra paper. John's in St.
here.
Martin's. Okay, John, it's probably nice, but it's nice here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're having a great time. This is the second week of the cruise, so we have been kind of shorthanded, and we've been managing. Just know that Steve is not here. Do not call Steve. And he won't be back until, I think he's coming back Monday.
Yes,
I think so.
Everyone is. Maybe
We hope.
Please
Yes.
come back.
Yeah. We miss you. It's been kind of quiet, but it's also been busy too.
Yes.
We were just talking about people coming in. The mornings have been really busy. It's like it's start your day. And now that we're on a new time zone, it makes it a little different. Okay, so if you have your pattern with the if you have this and you have it handy, what I've decided to change was the bias strips. So in your kit, you have the border, you have to remember the fabric, you have butterflies, you have white Kona, and the Kona is also the lining, I do believe. Did we do that? Yep, the Kona is the lining too. With some of them, we're doing a different lining. You know what? Okay, she's not going to stay. Okay. Some of them with the other linings, you might not want to do a collar that's printed, but I think it's kind of cute too. So I try a little bit of everything. So what we're gonna follow the directions on the sheet, and we will have them on the website. And then we're going to start though with the sash, because the sash is it's not included in the dress kit. It was something it was from a classic sewing magazine, which they don't print anymore. Bummer. And I just really liked the idea of doing it. So I've sort of changed parts of it, but you can add more to it or not. It is everything that you kind of learn and build. We have some other ideas too of other things you can do with them. So on the pattern cutting adjustments. So it says the center sash is how you like it. And it has 1.25 inches to 3.5 inches. So if you're doing a bigger girl's dress, definitely you probably want a little bit bigger one. This one, I thought that looked like a good size.
Yeah.
And how you measure this is across the bodice. So you take your front bodice piece and you measure across here. And this is a 12-month. The dress that we're going to make today is for Mimi, for Tommy's little girl.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is 12 inches. So that's what we measured. I measured this and cut that one out. So I did not tell you about cutting out. Boop, 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 back. So the hem allowances are on the bottom, and most of them are 3.25 inches. So we're actually going to eliminate the 3.25 inches, and you put the bottom of your garment, of your bodice, your bottom to the bottom of the border. This it will go on a fold, so you fold it back. These are double borders, so you can do them both at the same time. Just fold it and then fold it back this way. This is the only border print that we had in the store. So literally, we sent out every piece of fabric.
We did.
All right. Oh yeah, we can do that. Okay. So this goes this way.
Woo.
So you fold it in half, and then if you fold it in half again, you can cut out the whole bottom.
There you go.
So if you're doing any of the regular patterns with regular dress fabric, it's still the same thing, but you just don't have to worry about the border. You just cut
Right.
those out regularly on the fold. Then the other pieces included you have a bodice lining, you have a placket, you have a front and a back. So of the fabric that you got in the kit, so your butterflies are going to be the bodice front and the bodice back. Your collar, your lining back, and your lining front will be the white. And then your placket will be the skirt fabric, or you can do a placket white too. That really doesn't matter. The other thing that you get in your kit will be the shape flex. And shape flex, you do your collar, we do the sash, and we do the back along the fold line, so that when this gets folded back, you have a little interfacing underneath your buttons. And you do it on both sides because it gives strength to the button side as well as the buttonhole side. All right, so that is that. So then the extra cutting things would be to cut this, and when we're folding up the fabric or the pattern, you're already eliminating the hem. So you've taken care of that step. We eliminate the seam allowances on the arm size and on the collar as well. And we'll show you that. We'll show you how to do that. You just cut it out regular, and then we'll show you as we go along. All right, so sash. Let me read from the directions to make sure that we're gonna that I give you good directions for that. Maybe not. Okay, so maybe we'll write out better directions. So what we're going to do with this first, you baste them together, so you have the wrong sides are together, and you're going to take, if you're a quilter, you're going to be so happy with this because we're going to bind the edges. You put the wrong sides together, and they are bias strips. Why we use bias strips is because on curves, it's easier to go around the curves, but also on the hem edge, it just makes it lie smoother, even though it's the hem's straight. They kind of lie better. And when you're cutting them at angles too, it's easier to stitch them together at an angle. So you spread it out a little bit, your seam allowance, so it's not one big bunch. So it's a little different when you're wearing it versus versus not. So we're going to do seam allowances or 1/4 of an inch, and I know they tell you that on here. The only place that they're not is at the waist. All right, so Genevieve is going to be our sewing girl today.
And
she's really good, so.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're using the
all
brother
set.
today. So what I like is the 1/4 inch foot, the clear one, because I like to see where I'm sewing. I know this. we really should have a rug or something under here because it slides.
Very slidey.
Yeah, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you feel like you're
Okay.
sliding into the machine.
This is very nice. Ooh. There we go.
Oh yeah, you haven't worked on this machine
I
yet.
haven't.
Okay, this is
exciting.
the Avenir, the brother.
How beautiful.
This is the new top of the line.
Okay, here we go.
And you stitch it at a regular stitch length. I think I did the lock on this. So did it reverse at the top? I know.
Yes,
you
it
have
did.
to it's slow. You have to step on a little harder.
Slow. I'm trying to. I can't.
I know. That's what I was doing too.
I'm impressed. Why am I pressing hard? This must make great television.
Let's
I hope
see.
everyone at home is
look
thrilled.
at how fast they sew.
I'm going to figure this out once we're done with this. Oh, there we go.
Was it caught
It
underneath?
must have been. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. The top came unthreaded.
Stop.
Oops. Did it?
That's what I get for sewing fast. It looks like it did.
Oops.
Pause.
So this, the thread I used on this one is the Aurifil. I do like Aurifil. It's cotton thread. And heck, it's a cotton dress.
Okay. So, oh,
Yep.
good. This threads it for you. I love that.
You never stop being amazed at that. It's a great thing.
Okay. Take 2. Okay.
You think that was it cut underneath
I
it?
don't know. It's doing it again. I'll figure it out. There we go. Okay.
So the other thing that will be in the bubble, if you sew on a Bernina, whether you found it or not, the 1/4 inch foot on the Bernina is a 37, which is for the basic machine. It comes with a 37D, which is for the ones that have the dual feed. It's a 57, and it's also a 97, and it's the nicest 1/4 inch foot there is.
There we go.
We like the baby locks, but that's the foot that I love. Okay,
right.
good. All right, so we're going to press it.
There you go.
Now you're not going to trim any of your seam allowances because we've already trimmed them. So if you trim it, it's going to be you lose a little more of your dress. So this, you want to press it to one side, and then you're going to flip it over. And what happens is that it gives you a guide on the other side. Oops, let me see, are we good? Yeah. So it's going to just roll right over. So because this is straight, I don't know how comfortable you feel doing it. You can just go straight down and just
Perfect.
edge stitch it and just change the thread color.
Alrighty, I'm gonna
And
do
I
that.
will change both the top and the bottom. You can leave the white on the bottom if you'd like.
Got it. Put this right here.
And there's the edge foot right there.
Wonderful.
I just grabbed all the things I was sewing with when I was making and just threw it in the bag. So these are actually mine. So this makes a really nice little dress for Easter. You could probably do it into the fall and just put a little jacket over it. The other thing, if you don't want a collar, you could put a little ruffle around the neck. There you go.
Yeah, I need to change my foot.
The other thing when you're doing the edge foot, sometimes you have to adjust left and right. Just see how close it's going to be.
Okay.
You want to do it the other way?
Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah, flip it. Yep.
Go this side.
And if you're a real perfectionist and you don't want to risk having this not be straight, you can also hand sew this, but I know that that's a bad word. I've actually hand sewn them a couple times on collars.
Okay, looking good.
Looking good.
Let's go. This is a cool foot. Hold on, our fabric's moving around here. Okay.
If it's easier for you to pin it, we can pin it. With a straight piece, you don't have the crazy pins like a curve.
Right. I might want to get it. I think I'm missing it just a little bit on here. hold on, something weird is going on. I'm going to fix this so we do
Are
it
we having a
right.
machine issue?
No,
I
I'm
hope
just
not.
hitting right on the edge of it.
Okay. What you can do is adjust the width
There we go.
on these. This is
Mhm.
it's the same on a baby lock. Oh, maybe.
There we go.
Is it moving? Yeah. So that'll move it left and right.
Okay.
And we always have a seam ripper.
Yes, we do.
handy.
So I'm just going to pop these open. Ooh.
What do we have the length on? It's on a 2.5. That's a basic.
Mm-hmm.
What foot are you using right now?
This
the
is the
edge.
edge joining foot. So that you run the edge of it
Mhm.
along the fold and it should be catching. And you know what you can do?
Mhm.
Okay. Just go ahead and go back to there.
Yep.
And just start it
Start
again.
again.
Yeah, because that'll cover that
Yeah.
stitching.
Okay.
Will be good. And it's, did we move it over enough?
Let me see. Ooh. That looks better. Yeah.
Okay. And I notched it over 1 notch, I think.
Yeah, that looks much better.
Okay. We have a fighting chance. Do you want a pin?
I would love a pin.
Okay.
I just like not having to stop when I get down here. Okay. Okay, that's a little better. What way do you put your pins when you sew? I've seen it and I've done it lots of different
It depends on what I'm
ways.
doing. Sometimes I do them parallel. Sometimes I do them perpendicular.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends. I've been trying to use clips more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't find that they're, with garments, that they're as tight
It's-
as I need them to
yeah.
be.
Ooh.
Is it just not liking that corner?
Yeah. I'll come back to it.
Okay. With this, because the base of it's white, on the
Mhm.
back, a lot of times you're catching the fabric on the front, and it's a little bit over, so the back where you're stitching is actually white. My daughter used to laugh at me I used to sew Girl Scout badges on, and I made sure that the bobbin matched.
Oh.
And the thread matched whatever the badge was.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we just didn't like this little section of it, but that's okay. Ooh.
Oh,
my
that's where it
goodness.
went a little wacky on
Yeah.
the under part. Learning curve.
Learning curve.
This is the first time we're using the Avenir.
Yes. Yeah. It's a little curvy right here.
Here, let's press and see what it does.
Yeah.
Pressing to get rid of a multitude.
Mhm.
All right. Oh, yeah. I think that helps a lot. All right. So we're going to do the other side. I'm going to let you do that, but we won't
Wonderful.
necessarily film that. We'll let you do you do the other half, because then we're going to put the ties on it. So while she's doing that, I'll tell you what we did with the ties. So it tells you in the directions to cut 5-inch strips. and you're doing them with the fabric. Well, not every dress is going to have the same size. So I measured making a bow, and a bow is 20 inches. So if you figure the length that you want the back to be plus 20 inches, that's how big, that's how long your strip would be. So I cut, this is a size 12 month. So I cut quite a bit off of it. The other thing, when you do your strip, you fold it in half, then just take at the bottom and just make an angle. Just make sure that you're measuring the same on both of them. And then when you flip it, use a point turner that you can really get into the edge. We really like that one. So that is those. And then okay. So the other crazy place. So this is how I found the easiest way to do the armholes and the collars. So I have interfaced the collar. I put the wrong sides together, and then I based along it 1/4 of an inch. And then I trim that seam allowance off, because remember, we're binding the edge. So we want to take the seam allowance off. And so this little dress has paisleys on it, and the white on white has paisleys. So of course we're going to do the collar the same, and the lining. I find using my machine for measuring is very helpful on these instances, because you can go and measure around at 1/4 of an inch, but why would you want to do that when you can do it easier? So once that comes off, then we're going to do the collar. And this one, to borrow a couple pins.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, these are bias strips. So you're going to start it at the edge. And you can go along and pin this. This is tricky. You can pin it, keeping the fullness as far behind as you can. You're going to do 1/4 of an inch seam. But what I find, and I'll show you how to do this on the machine, we have a stiletto. And if you take a stiletto and push the bulk out, you can stitch your 1/4 of an inch, and you just keep moving it around. And this is going to stitch down, and then the bulk of your excess is behind where you stitch. Here's another. So when we get here, we would push it back, and it makes it go around. Well, I'll show you how to do that on the machine when we finish that. This is actually what the collars look like. Make sure of the front. Yep, there's the front and the front. So they're very sweet. And you could do the piping, which is what the pattern calls for, but a lot of people don't like to do the piping because it's a little tedious and maybe you're not exact on getting it on there. So that's why I've tried the binding, and this binding them, and I think it's really cute. The other dress, which we were trying to find fabric that we liked for a kit for this one. Of course, we're out of this fabric now, which we go through a lot of fabric here. This is the Ruthie, and the same thing with the collar. It was supposed to be piped, but rather than piping it, I just did a binding on it. So it came out really cute. This is another dress that's super, super easy. Some people don't like it because it buttons down the front and you have to do all those buttonholes, but buttonholes will be easier once you start doing 1 or 2 of them. They really do get easier. With the buttonholers now that they have, you put the button in it and off you go. With the Berninas, you put the button up to the machine and dial it, so it shows the size of the button immediately. Yeah. We were talking about I made beautiful clothes in college. I have a home ec degree. I think I told you all that. And I had a basic Singer sewing machine that zigzagged. I think that's all it did. I had an attachment for buttonholes. It had cams in it. Best buttonholes ever, really, even to this day. But I made beautiful clothes on that.
Yeah.
Like the machine didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And now you have all these amazing machines that do so much. All right. So finish our sash. So we're going to cut the ends off. And we're going to take our ties. Okay. So we have this little piece. We have little snips, don't we?
Yeah, they're over there.
Ruth Ann likes the Karen K. Buckleys. I'm a Kai girl. I really like these little Kais. I think I have 5 or 6 different sizes of them.
My goodness.
Yeah. I was looking through I have, the old scissors to cut out the patterns and paper.
Right.
And yeah. Like, I really have too many scissors. It's a sewing problem.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. All right. So our tie. Now, our tie is a little bit wider than what this is. So what you do, and I always put the seam on the bottom. So you're going to match one edge. This is going to be the right side. I do need pins.
Let's bring these back over. Yeah.
Okay. So I pin the one edge, and then I take the other edge and put it to the fold and pin that edge. And then what happens is you have if you pin it to the fabric, works a lot better that way.
That helps.
All right, you pin that, and then you're going to have a little bit of ease in there. All you do is take and pinch that to make a little pleat. Because all little sashes have a little pleat on them.
They need a little pleat.
They do. It gives your bow a little more volume. All right, then you stitch this 1/4 of an inch from the edge to the fold, and you'll have to manipulate it a little bit, and then we're going to flip it over. You can use whatever color thread you'd like because we're not going to see it.
Okay. Right in here.
And right in there. Whichever way you start, you have to just pull the top of it, away.
Yeah. Whoop. What did I do? Oh my goodness. Okay.
We do not want that stitch.
I just like putting my needle in just a little bit for little corners like this, so I know I'm getting the right place. I'm going to keep it slow this time.
Yeah, it's an awful little space.
Yeah. Okay. Hello.
It's supposed to know to do that.
It is supposed. Okay, I'll just do it myself. Fine. Uh-oh, here's our problem.
We'll go
Got
up.
a little bit stuck.
There you go.
Where are those snips? There they are. Okay.
Note to self, maybe we don't use a new machine.
You know, it happened. I'd be
Okay, then we're
this.
going to take and flip this along that edge. And again, you're going to match. Okay, we're going to match the corner and cover that. And again, I'll pin. You match each of the sides, and then we're going to put that little pleat back in there too. Okay, then our little pleat. And then you top stitch it. And you probably want the pink on the top and the bottom for this. Okay,
Okay.
there you go.
Those are finished.
And that's the wrong side.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
So I would change the bobbin to pink
Oh, yes.
because the right side then will be
there
white.
it is.
Again, those little things that make a difference.
My white one. Okay.
And then you can either use that or the edge stitch. You could use either foot for that and you just stitch close to the edge of it.
I'm going to go this way. Whoops.
So if you were going to do this with the embroidery, it's easier to do the embroidery first and then then cut out your piece. Did it work that time?
I think so.
Okay.
It got one of them. Okay.
Okay, then you do the same thing to the other side.
Got it.
I'll let you do that.
Here's our one side.
Yep.
And we're going to do the other side.
All right. So while she's doing that, we'll go back to okay, on the instructions, we are going to, for top stitching on this one, I just use the regular 2.5. If it was a decorative thing, I would use a little bit bigger stitch, probably a 3. But because it's utilitarian and you're going to be probably moving it back and forth a lot, we do it with a regular stitch. So when you first start the sash, it really doesn't matter which side you use because it's identical on both sides. So unless you do a different fabric on one side, but I just use the same on both of them. Okay, so in your Louise directions and your pattern. So the pattern is going to tell you to do the first, the stitches 1 to 3, the steps 1 to 3. So you transfer your markings, and I do use a friction pen. You want to mark buttonholes. You want to mark on your collar. You always want to mark your center front because it's really important to know where the front is when you're putting it together. I can't tell you how many times that I didn't do that and think I have to go back, pull out the pieces, and make it look at it. And then you sew so we have, and I've stitched this together. We're trying not to make this a 3-hour tutorial. Okay, so we have our right sides. So what you do is you sew your sleeve, your shoulder seams together, the back to the front, and then you do the same thing, excuse me, on your lining pieces, front to back. Now you'll notice on your back lining that the piece is a little bit shorter, why they do that is to give you your back where your buttons are, it's smoother that way. And it gives it I think it makes it look a little nicer. So the nice thing is that this garment is completely lined. So the inside, I like it looking as nice as the outside. So we will do, so this is lined, and then the bottom we're going to do a French, you'll learn how to do a French seam if you don't know already how to do that. That was my favorite. So once we do that, then we go to the collar. And then with the collar, so you find your center front. And we do this right there. So that's the center front. And then I take my collar pieces and I line it up right on that line. And I did baste it together when I got it put together. And then we take the other side and do that. And I saw that Marilyn had posted about the buttonholes on the Radiance, and yes, the buttonholes are beautiful. All right, then we stitch this around. And then our center back, which I do believe I got that right. I'm going to cheat with my with my pattern. So center back is a 1/4 inch from there. Yep, so we're right on that. And why the center back does not go it goes on the fold. This is the fold line. This is your center back, because you need to have some allowance when it's going to overlap. Ah. Oh, I pinned myself.
Do you want?
Do you have a Band-Aid? And it's white that we're working on. They're sharp pins. And I do use glass head pins. I do prefer them to go through.
Do you know where the Band-Aids are in the other building?
Oh, that's okay. It's just tiny. I just don't want to bleed it.
Yeah.
Even a tissue or whatever we have in the bathroom is fine. All right. So once you pin this, and I do pin this from the top because we're going to flip the lining over it. Oh, thank you.
I really should get some Band-Aids.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only person to ever bleed on on camera. All right. I'm not so worried about my fingers. I'm worried about the garment. All right. These little paisleys look so cute on that. All right. The seams are pressed open. That's a lot easier to stack them on top of each other. All right. So once that's pinned, then we're going to take and we flip it, and I think that is, let's see, step 7. Okay, 7 was matching it, putting, yes, and 8, pinning the collar onto it. And we're not putting piping on it. So with this, you match your seam allowances. And the best way to make sure that your seams are matched is you take a pin on top and pin it through your seam. And then poke it through so that you are catching it on the back. I don't know if you can see it that way. And then you catch the back. And then come up there. And so it lays very nice on top of each other. So now that you have it all, the pins in one layer, you just come back and you repin to catch the lining layer. The lining, the back facing piece, I've pressed that away from the facing, which again, it's going to lay a lot flatter. Okay. Oh, I think I skipped the step where we stitched our. You stitch your front to back at the lining, and just make sure that you don't do the. You don't twist it. Lay it flat, pin them both, and then stitch it together. And because we're not going to do we're going to bind the seams. We're not going to stitch the side seams the way they tell us either. Okay, so same thing here. Oop, didn't catch the back right. You doing okay?
Yep, just trying to get this little pleat in the center. Perfect.
We were working with Janine and I spent a lot of time in the front. we were talking yesterday, and this couple came in and they were looking at different machines, and Janine and we were talking about the Berninas, and Janine goes, well, I don't know. I still like my baby lock, but I'm not a perfectionist sewer. And she looks over and she goes, like Sherry. Yes, I like a Bernina for its precision. But you just kind of learn to work on whatever machine you have. All right. I think the people now that are going to be having some struggles are going to be the people with the with Vikings, with the Joann's closing their galleries. And I was talking to a lady that owns or that runs the one up in Cranberry. I was up there a couple of weeks ago, and she said that they all had to be out of the store by the end of the month, and end of February, because if you so those are leased apartments. They're part of the Joann store, but they're leased. Viking leases them. I think the fixtures and stuff might be Joann's, but if they were in the store, if they were still in the store when when they get close to the end, then the liquidators would take everything that was theirs as well. So they wanted to make sure that that wasn't happening. But they have to find places they can lease, because this all, I guess, happened faster than they thought it was going to happen. So we still have Jeff that fixes machines. So he's always fixed our Viking customers. But I had people calling for feet and stuff. I don't know where they go. Yeah. All right. So this is pin. Yeah, we're sort of enveloping this one. There you go.
There's the sash.
All right, so there's our sash. So this will go around the waist of this darling little dress when we're finished. Okay. Collar. I had the collar right here. Okay. I had the collar that I was showing them. I did not leave the building.
No, it was here. I saw it. This is always a part of
here.
garment sewing.
Okay.
There it is.
All right, here it is. So I can show you how to do this. Where's our little stiletto? Right there.
There it is.
Okay. I think I've stopped bleeding. So, yeah.
It is very sliding.
I say I've laughed because this is like an amusement ride. You get in and you don't realize how you're going to go. All right. So to do the collar, the sleeves are curved, but they're not quite as angled as what the collar is. So if we start at the top, and I've tried this both ways, with pins and without, and it's so much easier without pins, just because the pins are in the way. Okay, if this is going to be really pokey slow. All right. so back here is where we need to, can we see that? That we're pulling so that we don't have any puckers in this. And it is good to sew slow on this because it does take some time. So when you pick up your foot, it doesn't go up automatically. Let's see. Now you get used to your own machine.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. And again, you pull the fabric towards the seam and you pull the bulk of the bubble away because you don't want that bubble in the way. This stiletto is one of the handiest things I've ever used.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for garment sewing, it's good for embroidery, use it for lots of things. All right, so now, once you get on the straight, it's really easy to go. I know I'm getting close to the curvy, the curvy part. Okay. So when you know you're getting close, you want to start to pull them back again. All right, and about 2 more pulls and I think it'll be good. All right, and then we go straight. All right, now when you go to flip it back, and again, this is going to be our right side, you can see just finger pressing it, it starts to pull around already. So this is going to be, again, we're going to top stitch it. This one I pin. I do not, I don't even pretend that we can do it. But once you press it, yeah, can we see that? Once you press it, it's going to go right around. But this takes a little longer, so we decided to not do this one on the
Just
on
a
the
little demo.
But yeah, but you can press it first, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I'll press it first because it really does go back upon itself very nicely. And again, this is because it's bias cut. You could not do this if your fabric was straight cut.
Oh no.
It would be a real challenge. Okay. Oop. Our iron is going off there. We had to redo it.
Oh goodness.
Yeah,
These
I know.
irons.
Technical difficulties. Oh yeah, Ruth Ann, Lizzie works here with us. Lizzie has sewn with Ruth Ann for a long time. We're just glad we know all these young people.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to just do a quick pin on this so you can kind of see if you do the edge and then the other edge. And then you start to pull it around. And the reason why I changed the bias strips from 1/8 to 1/4 was because of this.
Yeah.
You really do need a little bit of extra. You could sew, I mean, you really could sew for smaller sizes, like an eighth maybe,
Oh my
but
goodness.
yeah, that's a little crazy. All right, so that would do that. So that's your collar. All right, so we're now white thread.
Back to white.
So we have the collar on, and we have it sandwiched in between the front and the lining. So now we're going to do white.
I'm gonna go back to white.
Back to white.
Yep.
A 1/4 inch all the way around.
You got it.
And I'll bring you the pin box. Can we move this back?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you were using that or not.
I wasn't sure what it was.
I keep bumping.
I know, I
into
did
it.
too.
I feel bad.
It's just to show the screen, if you guys know.
Oh, if you're on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing anything
Nothing
tricky
fancy
on
there.
the screen. Basic stitches.
Whoop, I missed. There we go. There we go. Okay. Thank you.
So when you have a helper in sewing, I know it's a sous chef in cooking. Is it a sew chef?
Oh my gosh. I love that. Okay. Ready?
There you are.
Thank you. I'm going to go this way so I can use this lovely edge foot. Or not the edge foot.
I would do the other way.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Do it the other way because
Thank
that's
you,
an
thank
eighth.
you.
You want a 1/4.
Oh.
It's okay. The other end.
Okay.
The other end.
Oh my gosh.
Someone asked, you don't need to make notches in the curves?
Not when you're doing it this way because you're laying it flat. When you flip it, and I don't think I brought the pinking shears over. Did I? Oh, yes, we do. Nope, those are scalloping. We want pinking. There's pinking. Yes. And I did not, I was thinking I didn't need pinking shears because we're not cutting anything out of the armholes or anything. But yes, we are doing this. On the collar, because it's bias, it makes it easier to turn so that that's the other thing. Notching isn't really required on that. So I saw Lisa Kirkpatrick is on, and I think Lisa's granddaughter is probably almost 2. She was one of my customers in Maryland.
Aww.
Yeah. And she was supposed to come for the event, but I hope she'll make it for the spring because she had some health issues in the fall. It's always fun to see how many people have come from far away to our events.
Yeah.
We had a few people from Canada.
Mm-hmm. We
Oh,
did.
wow.
Yeah. Kathleen got back. Kathleen and Joni were on the cruise last week, and Kathleen was saying just how nice our customers are, and it's so much fun to, when there are, especially when you're at something like that you really spend a lot of time with. She goes, yeah, I got invitations to come visit, and that's the beauty of this world, is that it's a community.
Okay.
Okay. Then we
Sure.
take the pinking shears, and I do like pinking shears for notching. Are you brave?
Hmm?
Do you want to pink it?
I can pink it, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
So pinking it will help to take the some of the bulk out of it, so that when you turn it, it's going to turn smoother.
Gotta
Maybe.
use my hand muscles. Okay. There we go. Just being very careful not to get those stitches.
You don't want to cut through the stitches.
No.
No. Can we? Are we good? don't know what those pinkers are, but we have Kai pinkers that are, I think, a little better than those.
Yeah.
No?
There
And that's
we go.
just going, well, I guess a little bit of that.
It's getting through these sandwich layers. Okay.
All right, so the other thing that you may not know how to do is understitch. And you understitch your lining. Let's stop and think on that. You understitch your lining to the seam allowance. So we're going to press. This is an old technique that is never fails. Oop, let's not get the cutting. Our poor little cutting mat, having the cutting mat on it. Oh, I don't. Do we have the? Can you pull up the Kai pinkers?
Yeah, I'm gonna put those in.
Yeah, because I know we've done those before. I was a Ginger girl for a long time. I have Ginger pinkers and Ginger shears, and I got my Kais and haven't looked back. I even bought Kai pinkers. Like, that's just crazy to have two pairs of pinking shears. I'm trying to find a good home for the other ones. All right. So you can't stitch it completely, but you go as far as you can to do it. So it's going to be stitched along here, and that will hold. So when it's flipped, that holds the facing to, pulls it back so that it doesn't stick out of your garment.
Also used on sleeves for some vests and
anything that has a facing to it.
Yeah.
That's a really good trick to keep it all underway.
Okay. Let's see where I can get in here.
Yeah, it is a matter of kind of figuring what you can, how far you can get your machine under it. This is why when doing alterations, sometimes it's hard to go back because they've done
all sorts of
things that you think, Not that I love to do alterations, but I have a new rule. If I haven't given birth to you, I don't do your alterations.
That's a good rule. People do crazy
It's
things.
worked really well.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure everybody that sews has somebody that when they find out that you sew, they say, "Oh, I have this jacket, or I have these pants," or no.
I've worked in a lot of musical theater, and some of the alterations that you see come through there
are
crazy.
There's a customer that it was in yesterday that her daughter is a senior at Pitt, and she's in the costume department.
Oh, wow.
And she did a Victorian, or not Victorian, it's like Marie Antoinette. And instead it was in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. It was absolutely, did you see it?
I think I know who you're talking about.
It was
I
stunning.
went to high school with her.
Oh, nice.
We were in the same acting troupe.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it was beautiful. Again, so when you see these things that young people are doing, yay! Keep that craft alive.
I'm going very slowly for this. I'm not going to try to speed it up.
Yeah, it is good to go slow on this one.
Anything really tiny like this.
And especially because you're working between so many pieces of different fabrics.
Okay, I think. This is where I'm going to stop.
Thankfully, these are quiet machines. The Berninas are a little noisier.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm used to that, though. My machine is old and noisy, so. Okay.
All
Just
right.
make sure I didn't catch anything.
So this was, let me see, 4 pieces. So on our separate sheet, it's understitch collar after turning collar to the right side. Okay, and then we're going to sew the side seams.
Okay. See, I caught a little bit of the bodice. So I'm just gonna.
Always an issue.
See. Just
Can you
because I'm
see?
sure. Right here, I was a little bit too close and caught part of the bodice. So it's mostly under the collar, but it makes a weird little pleat, and we don't want that.
We don't want that.
These are coming out easier, much, much easier. Okay.
This just shows exactly what can happen when you're not, why you have to go slow and pay attention to the stuff under the needle.
There we go. Okay. Gonna fix that really quick. It's only a little part, so. Oop, you can see part of the collar came out here too. And
Okay,
a little
let's
sandwiching.
not do that.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let me take that out. That's not good. How did we do that? All right, we're going to take this back. Where is she? Right there.
This thing.
Oh, we probably should have looked at that before.
That's okay.
Before we flipped it. All right, let's pull that back up. Again, a pin. There's one of those fancy pins in there, as Gloria always says. Those don't, you don't want those. They bend, and they do.
They very easily bend.
And somehow that we got a bunch of those over on the cutting table.
I noticed that.
And when we're at the cutting table and you're going to do the pin the fabric back, you and you grab one of those and it bends as you're putting the pin in the fabric. Okay, that's okay. I pulled some of the
all good.
the underlining out too. So you can do that, or the understitching, not the underlining.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it really is nice using the controls of the baby locks and the brothers. You really do have really good control over your machine. And it's quietly doing it. All right, are we good?
Okay. Much better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yay.
we got it.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Let me make sure the iron's hot. Yep.
Cut. Whoops.
Oh, yeah, all that gets magnetized.
Okay. I'm just gonna
So Tommy and Maddie and the kids are on the cruise. So Maddie will have a
This
little
will be
dress
so cute.
for Mimi when she gets back.
Okay.
So now we have to go back and do the understitching of the collar where we took it out.
Okay. There we go. And here's our finished. Much better. Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to press and point turner.
There it is.
Take the point turner to get into that corner of your facing on both sides. The reason why the point turner is so nice, it doesn't have a sharp point, but it has a point that's not going to poke through
Right.
your... Not that I've ever done that before.
Never.
You think, oh, yes, I could do that. Oh, wait, we're caught right there.
Where did it
Where's
go?
our rip? I know you had it in your
boy.
hand.
Oh, here it is.
Okay. I got a little caught right there.
Oh, I didn't even notice that one.
That's always tricky at the beginning.
Beginning and end is when you get
Caught. All right, let me pull that out, and then I'm just going to press. Okay. We got that. So you're going to take, the collar's going to come back really nice. You're going to line up those pieces. So here is, I just do a little tap on that on the front or on the back. And then pull that out. And you can see that that is going to lay very nicely. It's just very sweet. You want to roll the under part. And then match the bottoms. See when this comes up. Oops, I think we need a bigger mat, or move the mat over. Maybe that would help. Ironing is so important in garments. I had a lady I used to work with that did, she was a quilter, and she yelled at me for using steam on a, I was doing a sample of something. Like, oh, I'm a garment girl. We iron everything with lots of steam.
Lots of steam.
All right. I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cute.
Okay. Now, ordinarily what you would do is stitch the top to the bottom and then stitch it all the way down. But because we're doing this a little differently, we're going to stitch the side seams of the bodice and then the side seams of the lining. And again, you want to be real careful that you're not twisting anything to make sure. Okay, and then on the other side. Oh, good. Ruth Ann uses steam on hers. I think she's much more professional than the lady I used to work with. So, and there's that one. Okay, so 1/4 inch on those. We're going to go really crazy and do a 1/2 inch soon.
Ooh. Oh,
All right, there you
thank
go. So 1/4 inch,
Yep.
regular length, 2.5. I don't think we're not going to change the length until we
Mm-mm.
do the gathering for the skirt. Oh wait, that's too wide. It's not that one. It's this. With garments, we press seams open
Yes.
just because it distributes the thickness a little bit better.
Okay. One side done. Let's go to the other side.
They're little seams.
They are little seams.
I was reading, there was a group that was talking about like sewing for beginners, and it said, what would you teach beginning sewing? And somebody said doll clothes. I'm thinking, oh man,
so
thankfully
small.
dolls are a little bigger now than they
Yeah.
used to be, but I don't think so.
That's how I started sewing. Was
Yeah.
clothes for my like American Girl dolls. Oh, thank you. But I don't know. It's hard. It's just
American
so
Girl
tiny.
doll clothes were bigger than like a Barbie.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, my friend and I made school uniforms for the American Girl dolls for the Catholic school our daughters were at.
Aw.
Little Peter Pan collar blouses and black watch plaid.
Aw.
They had a used uniform sale, and we actually got the actual uniform fabric. Flynn and
Wow.
O'Hara. That's everybody's.
Great. There
Everybody
all
at Catholic school knows them.
are seams. Okay.
All right, press those open.
Yep.
And then we are going to bind the sleeves. And I'll show you what the little trick is for that. That's not a big one. But I started to watch a YouTube it was Jenny Doan on doing the quilt binding, and she showed you how to measure it and everything and put it together. And I thought, oh, that works. That works for this. The binding on this definitely is a quilting technique.
Absolutely.
So we steal from everywhere. But if it's a good technique, you should use it no matter where it came from.
I've used binding in all sorts of garment projects. I've done it on vests. It can be nice on dresses like this if you just don't, or want a little something different on them.
Well, and that's what you have to figure out is how can I adapt some of this?
Right.
Instead of doing the collar on this dress, maybe you do you take a 2-inch piece. Probably you could do it like this, fold it in half, and then pleat it.
Oh, adorable.
And you can make a little ruffle to go around the dress, around the neck of the dress.
Oh my God, that would be adorable.
Wouldn't that be cute? Yeah. So many ideas.
So many.
Too little time. All right. So then you put these together again, and you're matching your seam allowances, and they do.
Right there.
Oop. Okay. I'm going to stitch this so that it is I'm going to pin it. Oops, they have to be on top of each other. These are just little things that make it look like a nice garment. All right, so there's that one. And here. Now, like on the collar, what you want to do is eliminate the 1/4 inch seam allowance. So if we baste around this, 1/4 inch, I think that should be maybe 2 more. I'm not really afraid to pin. I seem like it today. But usually I overpin more than underpin. Oh my God. I can't imagine Barbie underwear, Ruth Ann. That would be funny. I think this is, I don't know if this is Mimi's Easter dress. I know that she's getting big, but I'm not sure. This is what we decided, that we thought a 6 month would be too little. Yeah.
It'd be perfect for springtime.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard. And I don't know where they came up with the quilting cotton term. A cotton is a cotton.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But all of a sudden it seems to be, oh no, that's a quilting cotton. Well, quilting cottons are cotton fabric, and there's a lot of nice prints that we like for garments. So
yeah.
Actually, we got in a Jason Yenter from In the Beginnings border print, and we only had 2 yards left of it. And that's why I didn't have a border print to bring over, because I took it home. I bought it. And I'm going to do a skirt.
I like the ones we came up with, though. They're so cute.
I do
Thank
too.
you.
You know, so we're going to stitch around both of those. I'm going to show you the kits that we have so we don't lose any time. So the kits are, the one that we're making today is Meadow Melody. And again, if you choose to buy one, the options will be a medium or a small or a large. So the small is 6 months to 3. The large is 4 to 8, because this pattern, the one pattern comes like that. The pattern is sold separately. And in the kit, in each kit, you'll get your covered button kit, your shape flex, your white on white, which this one's a paisley, and then the trim and the dress. And then that one is Meadow Melody. So many of these fabrics have the same name.
They do. Lots of M's.
Yeah, and it's been that and bunnies.
Yes.
There's Bunny Hop, Bella Bunny, Bunny Down the Trail, Hopping Down the Bunny Trail. This one, I really like this. This is Butterfly Calypso. And this would be your dress. And then I didn't really find it white on white, so this is just a white Kona. And then this would be your trim, which I thought this was really pretty. So we're definitely thinking Easter dresses. And then the last one is All About Daisies, because who doesn't like daisies?
This is my favorite, I think.
And it's pretty blue. And we use the same white Kona. And then I loved this yellow. I just thought that was a nice little accent for it. So again, your kit includes the fabric for the dress, the fabric for the trim, the fabric for the lining and the collar, and then your shape flex and your buttons. So hopefully there's something in those that looks appealing. And I'm sorry that we can't get any more of the border. When Gloria and I were looking for borders when we ordered that, I'm like, I know just the dress we want to use. So while Genevieve is finishing that, so on the skirt, and did I lose the? Oh no, the one thing about prepping this is with all the pressing, And especially on the top, I did not put the buttonholes on it because I thought we're going to press them away before we end it. But for the back, so this is a little bit different. This is a placket. So the places you might use a placket other than the back is all like on a sleeve, and it's just to give you an opening on a straight surface. So this is going to give us a center back. On the pattern piece, it shows you the line, and it gives you a pattern piece, which is this that we cut for the placket. And this is why I say if you want to do it in white, you're not even going to see it. So either way, it'll work. So with this, we turn it down 1/4 of an inch, and this is, you can turn it down or you can use the other thing, but the hot ruler.
There we go.
So, you know, I like my hot ruler, and we can just do that. And there's our 1/4, or you can use your machine. Do 1/4 and then fold it under on the line. All right. And then, so now we have that folded. The other thing I like to do is stitch along this line and stitch one line across and then stitch back up. And that's just going to give you some reinforcement. The 1/4 inch of your placket is going to go along that line. So that gives you a little bit of extra to do that. You want me to do that, or you want to do it?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, let me stitch this.
I've been hogging machines, so.
Let me go on my little roller coaster here. And so one of the classes I did with the serger, we had the serger. Oh, wrong button. I'm going down, not there. I'm already pressed. Okay. And we're on a regular length. So you just follow, and it came undone. That was my fault. Okay, come on. It helps if you don't have all of your press for there. That's kind of an interesting place for the cutting the thread. I will never stop being amazed at that needle threader. Beats the days of licking it and putting it through. All right, so we're going to use, and actually I might go down a little bit on that, just because it's a small space, and you do want to make sure that you have some reinforcement on it. Okay, I agree with you. I think this is caught under here. I'm going to guess that. Let's see. Did it sew any faster? Oh, yeah, that was the problem. Okay, so when I get down to the bottom, okay, I turn it, and I stitch one stitch over, and then I'm going to stitch it back. Okay. Okay, then you get very brave, and you take your scissors. I'll take my little guys, and you cut down the middle, almost to the end. And you can do a little diagonal clips to help that. And then they show this in the directions, and it looks like, oh, it's just perfect. No, it never lays that perfect. You have to do a little work with it. All right, so we're going to stitch this. So I line up with my fold. I will take the pins. Thank you. And I pin that. And the good thing is that your placket's always going to be a little longer. They're very generous on it. And you pin it. Are we good?
Mhm.
Okay, and then this again, it's going to be like that, the stiletto with where you pull it back. You kind of pull that back so that you're just going to catch that middle. And then the rest of it comes up. Okay. And it's all on the line, so we're good. Okay. So it's sort of a 1/4 of an inch, but not really because it was cut at an angle. But the underneath part is a 1/4 of an inch, so we know that that's what we were measuring. So using the 1/4 inch foot, you can see it's going to follow along. This one doesn't have a beam. If does this have a beam on it? No. Oh wait. Oh.
Please wait a while.
Okay, maybe. Okay, maybe not. I say if you have the beam then this one I don't know what it's doing, so we're going to ignore it. But if you have a beam and it shoots across, it makes it a little bit easier too. Okay, now where's my little stiletto? I'm going to take this one out, tighten her. Okay. It's really very, 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 very little to sew. Now I find those really distracting. How do we get rid of those? I don't know.
Here, I'll
Okay,
figure
now
it
we're
out.
stuck with it. All right, so the first thing I do is always check the bottom to make sure that I've caught it, and it's off, so I need to go back and catch that. It's, again, this is the trickiest part, is just getting that little end. But you kind of know what you're going to have to look for. Okay, I think I got it that time. Okay. Okay, we caught it that time. All right, so now I'm going to press it, and then we're going to press it over. And you can hand sew it. I know, again, I did see somebody agrees that's they would hand sew, or you can edge stitch it. And we're going to top stitch it. Yeah, we do need a seat belt on these. Do you feel like you're at Kennywood? It used to be Howdy Doody and Henry when I was little, and you had to stand next to them and wait while your cousins rode the rides because they were bigger.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Howdy Doody at the Heinz History Center.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm like, no, I'm not standing next to you. All right. So, and because this was a friction pen, it'll disappear. So you press that one. Because we're pressing this to the inside. Okay, and then this flips over. And I am going to top stitch that. I think that's just an easier thing to do. All right. I'm going to top stitch this, and then we'll show you how to do a French seam to do finish our bottom. Okay, I'm just going to use the little guide along here on the other side, the 8th. Okay, I'm just going to stitch right up along that. Probably I should have done it the other way so I'm stitching on the right side, but I'm stitching on the wrong side. I'm going to be brave. Nobody really sees the placket.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so our placket is finished, and on, let's see, yeah, again, they make this look, like, oh yeah, it's a lot of fabric to work with, but no, step number 16 does not really have that much fabric. So you're going to press, because it has to match the buttonhole, so you press the right half under, and it's going to match on top. So we do that. And then this one goes this way. The other thing you can do on these is you can do a little stitch across the bottom. You can stitch it right across here, and then that keeps it, it helps to keep it closed. But there is your placket, and you don't even see it. Ta-da! Okay, so now I've done one French seam, so I'll show you. A French seam is an enclosed seam, so it's finished. So we will have 0 seams to finish when we're done with this. All right, so to do a French seam, you're going to stitch wrong sides together. Okay, 1/4 inch seam, and let you sew that.
Thank you.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to cut the seam allowance off of the armholes. I'm going to keep the pins in those. Again, we're binding the edge of the armhole. We're not binding the seam. So you have to cut the seams off. Okay. So 1. We got in some new red, white, and blue. It's kind of, but looks batik-like. I'm not sure. It just came in today.
It was a batik.
I thought that would be really cute to do one of these in.
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't like a red, white, and blue something? Okay, so with this, with your side seams, you sew the right sides together, and then what we do always is press. So I would do this open and press it to one side. And I would trim this too, just a little bit. And then if you have a 5/8 inch seam, you stitch the 3/8 first, trim it, and then do the 1/4 inch. But since this is a 1/4 inch seam, it doesn't matter because it's a skirt, it's going to be gathered.
Yeah.
I thought, what the heck? So I'm just going to cut this at 1/8. And so when we do the next 1/4 inch, it'll be perfect. It'll be hidden. All right. Whoops. Ooh, that was a little wonky. All right. Then you flip it and you press again. And this really does help to keep the seams nice and flat. Just kind of roll it back under your fingers. The nun that I had in college used to do roll and basting, and she could just roll it and get it flat in her fingers.
Wow.
Amazing. So then you do that another 1/4 inch.
Yep.
Okay, and then on our, make sure I have the right sizes. So I start this. Oh, I think we'll do it on the back, and then I'll flip it and we'll stitch it on the front. I start this sort of at the center of the back so that where it's going to join is going to be at the back. If you do it at the underarm, you have too many seams in play that it doesn't make it work really well. So again, this is a curve, so you're going to have to do a little bit with your stiletto to get it around, but it's not the crazy curve of the other one. Okay, let's press this. Look at that. Yay, so it's going to be beautiful inside. Well, let me grab the other side. All right.
Look at that.
So beautiful, beautiful. And I'm going to press these side seams. I press to the back,
Yes.
which is there. All right. So we're pressing it that direction. And then, so we're going to, this is where we're going to adjust the sleeve length. We are going to do, we're going to do it as a 5, which I find is a really nice seam. Because it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance, you're going to do a row 3/8 and a row 5/8, so that when you stitch it in the middle of those. Okay. Let me press this first. And what I find is the easiest, and I know there's a gathering foot and people use a gathering foot. I'm an old girl and I like I like to pull the threads, and you can also do it over embroidery floss where you're doing a zigzag, but I really like this method. So if you will gather from, let me pin this so we know where that is. If you gather from this, like the center to the side, and then around to do it separately, because if you try to do it all as once, it would be crazy. Yeah. Let's see. Yes, because we don't want to be here till midnight. we're trying to double team and get this stuff done a little faster. I would bind this first and then do the skirt, but since I have a sew chef, we're now able to do that. We can do both. So while she's gathering's pretty easy. You do just the longer stitch. And they show you that in step 20. So I think that we have follow step 15 to 21. So 15 was the placket, then 18, 19, the side seams of the skirt, and then the gathering. And they tell you 3/8 and 5/8. That was just a really good rule of thumb that you made sure that you had your, oh, we're going to end up at the front.
We're good.
Oh
we're
no,
good.
what happened?
I accidentally switched stitches.
Oh.
We're okay.
Oh, wait.
Oops.
Is the needle okay?
Looks like it.
Okay. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Oh, you know what? Wait.
Okay,
I'm
we're good.
I'm going to take that off. We have to remember to take off the automatic locking at the reinforcements at the beginning and the end because you do not. You don't want to lock your basting stitches. All right, so we are coming around, and you don't want to do this too tight because you're going to flip it. I like my little pins better than those big pins. So where are we on? Oh, it's almost 5. We're trying to do this in 2 hours. So once you have the skirt attached, and you do 3 buttonholes, and where the buttonhole is on this pattern, it's like a 1/4 inch from the top. I would move it down just a little bit. If I do anything like that close, sometimes it's kind of hard to get it nice and flat. So if I move it down just a little bit, I'll just put a little snap at the top. And sometimes it doesn't even matter. It just makes it like a nicer look. I like it to look good. Yes, Donna, time flies when you're having fun, and we're still getting adjusted to the daylight savings. So in my mind, it's not this late. It doesn't feel like it. All right. Okay, so I'll let her gather, and then what I saw, there were a couple schools of thought. One, that you match your binding, and if, I don't know, Ruth Ann, you can tell me, and then you mark those, you can finger press those, and then I saw where they took and flipped these and stitched them at an angle. So I don't know. Jenny Joan, what she did is this was 1 1/4 inches. So you overlap it 1 1/4 inches. Say from there, 1 1/4 inches is there. Oops, wrong one. And then do it from here. So this is 1 1/4 inches this way too. So it goes there to there. All right, so you cut them at 1 1/4 inches. But then you overlap them. And you stitch this way, edge to edge, or corner to corner. Okay, and we'll see if it's going to work.
Are you waiting on me?
Yes, but
my
what? But that's all right. That's all right.
I'm almost done.
While you're doing that, let me pull out the buttons. Okay, so again, I'm a nut for covered buttons. There is an acrylic circle that comes in your kit, and your buttons that you get. It says it's a kit, so you get that, and then you get this little. It's another piece of acrylic. It's or plastic. It's a pusher. You have two parts of your buttonhole. You have the front, and then you have the shank in the back. And it's a shank button that has the little loop. An eyed button is the ones like a shirt button. All right, so if you lay this on top of here and just sort of press down a little bit, you can see if it looks like it's going to be even all the way around, and it does. And you can push it in with that. And you lay all of this down into the middle. And then you lay the shank on top of it. The end of this that has the cutout fits over that. And then you snap it in place, and you have a button.
That's so cool.
And there's your button. I know, these are really, really cool. And these dresses only take a couple little buttons, so it makes it easier. And now it's going to be even harder. Not that I think Joanne's had the best selection of buttons lately, but I just like the way these look. It just adds another bit of cuteness to the design. Okay. And there, you can hear it snap. So there's our 3 buttons for the back. Let me take, okay, I'm gonna show you how to do the binding. So since I figured out what the end of it is, I'm gonna try it. We'll see what happens if it works. All right, so it was 1.25 inches. Again, I'm not a quilter. I don't play one on TV. I'm not even trying, but some of the techniques I like, and this is the binding I like. Oh, I want to set it back to 2. There we go. Okay. I don't have it preset for the... All right, so let's see. Does that look like it's going to go around? No, it's not. It's going to be too much. All right, let's see how we... I think what I'm going to do, let me just start stitching it, and then we'll figure it out. Okay. Again, we have 1/4 inch, and I want to do it this way. So this is your armhole edge, and we're going to sew it 1/4 inch. And is my stiletto right there?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So if anything looks like it needs a little push, then you just kind of clean it up with that. And I do try to take pins out so I don't sew over them. Not to say that I haven't ever sewn over pins.
I was doing it earlier.
It's just not a good habit.
It's not. Sometimes I'll let it slide if it's really tiny little things, but...
And you go slow.
And you go slow, yes.
Yeah.
And you always keep an eye out for where your needle is landing.
Well, good thing I didn't attach it together because we're getting a little more. think they used a lot of this when they did those jackets, the tamarack, and definitely on the quilted ones that were the sweatshirts. See, we're getting garment sewers out of our quilters.
Yeah.
I think most of those people started with garments at one point in their lives. Most people did. It's fun to see what people are doing in their retirement, though, because a lot of them have not had time with their careers and are really enjoying getting back into sewing. All right, I'm going to stop at this. Okay, now it should be that we can maybe I just have it was 1.25 inches and then 1.25 inches. Again, this is when I need a quilter. All right, so if it's 1.25 inches from there, and I'm pinning first before I'm cutting. And then I did this at home. And then this should overlap 1.25 inches there. All right, I am going to do my fake way. And I'm going to fold it under. And then I lap it on top.
Are you supposed to cut a diagonal seam?
You are, but I am not going to get it that way. I honestly, I know that there was an overlap. I've watched Gail Doan do it, and I'm not following it. But I'm going to pull this so that my underneath part is just going to be a little bit shorter than my upper part. Because a diagonal seam takes the bulk out of it. All right. Stitch. All right, come back. This will work, it just won't be as smooth. I think this, every time we slide, I think it slides with us and it catches that. Okay. All right. So then when this is ironed and then flipped, because I did the back a little bit shorter, when I match it and bring it around, it's not great, but it's not awful either. If you know that, if you can do that little quilting technique where you make a diagonal? Absolutely. I should probably do Quilting 101 with Ruth Ann and get a little more of the basics. All right. So then this will be just like we did with the other ones. Then you flip it over, you have the seam allowance, and then we top stitch it. So the last of this is we have the binding the same way we did this, you do to the bottom. And then you attach the dress. Let me take that one open. So the center back is going to go here. This is probably the bulkiest part of it. Mm-hmm. And then you match your side seam with that. And because you've done 2 rows and you've stopped it, it makes it a little bit easier. When I gather, I take all right, so I'm going to pull. Oop, I got 3. I only want 2. Works much better when you have 2. Mm-hmm. All right, and then what I do is take and lock it. And I wrap it around the pin a couple times so that when I pull this side, it's not going to pull out on the other side. I like that trick. And then here, we got a lot of thread in there.
One of the side might be a little backstitched from our.
Oh yeah, from that adventure. That's okay. We can move it. There we go. Okay, then you pull this till it matches. Now we're only. Oh, I lost something there. Wait a minute. Oh, I lost the top one. I don't know what happened there. Okay, well, maybe. Let's go on the other side. Yeah. So you only are going, oh, gosh. Good thing I looked at that.
Yeah.
Woo, that would have been bad. We are going to only catch the bodice of the dress. Oh, good thing I looked at that. Oh, that would have been bad. All right. So we're only catching the bodice. We'll have to go back and do this, but it's a little too tall. Okay. So you match that up with a fold, because then, again, oops, we got to fix that. But once you stitch the back of this, then you fold this over it, and you'll be able to catch. You can't go all the way around, but you'll be able to catch the lining into the seam allowance like this, so that when you finish it and you pull it up, your lining will be stitched to the front of that. So I think where's our back? There we go. All right, so we're going to take this piece and we'll try it that way. And we're going to start it there. And this side is the one that's tucked under. So that's where you make it back. Well, it's kind of gathered already for us. You match your seam allowance to the seam allowance. One is going to be pushed to the back and the other one is going to be open. So that's kind of a nice, well, but this is the only way you can do French seams is to do them with pressing them to one side. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just a little bit. This side worked really well.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know what happened on our other side.
Gathering is
Alright.
tricky. It can be tricky.
Yeah, we try not to make things too tricky for you, but okay, but those are distributed. Let me just stitch this, and then I can show you at least what the end looks like. All right, this is a 1/2 inch. Now this is where I get a little crazy with my baby lock. I go, okay, where's a 1/2 inch? Oh, okay, it's over there. So let me put my needle down. Oh. Okay, so if I put my needle down, okay, it's the first line, so I'm good. Oh, that's the one thing that makes me crazy with my baby lock is the lines. I need them. Oh, here they do have. Oh, they do have them up here. Yay! Thank you. So the Avenir and the Radiance moved the numbers. Yay! Okay, so we're stitching it a 1/2 inch. So it is going between the 2 rows of stitching. And we don't want to catch our lining. Okay, so when I get to the edge, yeah, didn't like that. Okay, so with this one, and I'll do the lining. So this would come back. And you don't have a lot to play with, so you just do it as far over as you can get it. Yeah, it's being quite contrary. All right, I'll just do a little bit of this so you can see. I do feel like we're on slow motion here. Oh, see, I spoke too soon. All right, so just do as far as you can get it. Oop. All right, it both didn't go. So then when you flip it, you'll probably need to trim the corner just to get some of the bulk out of there. But this is what the back will look like. And then with the rest of this, since this is all turned under, you can do it by hand, or if you want to flip it to the right side and top stitch the whole thing, absolutely. So I think we're good.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other questions. I know if that's Sharon, we do need the beam.
Yeah.
Oh, Carol Whitmore, I'm
Hi,
sorry,
Carol.
we're done. So sorry this was a little longer than we tried, but hopefully that answered every question. So tomorrow is our favorite things, and Joni and who knows?
Maybe me? We'll see.
We'll see who shows up.
A surprise.
So yesterday it was Carol and Rose. Surprise, surprise.
On Monday it was.
Oh,
Yesterday.
yeah. What is today?
Today's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Who was
Doesn't feel
Tuesday?
like a Wednesday.
Oh, yesterday was Ruth Ann. Yeah,
Yes.
Ruth Ann. So anyhow, thank you all very, very, very much. And we're so glad you joined us today, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.